In 1920s, the Britain launched a series of invasions in eastern Africa, gradually conquering various indigenous peoples and dismantling long-standing traditional societies that had thrived for centuries. The area stretching from the Indian Ocean to Lake Victoria was quickly designated as Kenya. In order to increase British profits, the new colonial government invited thousands of British settlers to come and receive land and trading licenses, and these settlers primarily settled in the rich central highlands of Kenya. Tens of thousands of indigenous Kenyans, particularly the Gikuyu people, were forcibly removed from their land and confined to designated reserves. They were prohibited from owning land in white areas and were often forced to work on white-owned farms or migrate to Nairobi, where they faced poverty and dangerous living conditions. The Gikuyu tribe, along with the closely related Embu and Meru people, were the ones to initiate organized resistance against colonial rule. They voiced their opposition to land seizures, discriminatory policies, a Christian mission education system, and other forms of imposition of their cultures. Several people from different ethnic communities also joined the group. Initially, they did not have a specific name, but by the early 1950s, they became known as Maumau, and 90% of the group had taken an oath which swore the participants to secrecy. This organized secret society began to seriously concern the colonial government when they were linked to many assaults of attacking colonial supporters, raiding white settler farms, and destroying of livestock and other properties. In October 1952, the British government declared a state of emergency in Kenya and deployed additional army reinforcements. This marked the beginning of a fierce counterinsurgency campaign that lasted until 1960, when the state of emergency was finally lifted. It is estimated that 30 white settlers were killed during the 8 years of emergency, and the total number of Maumau fighters who were killed is estimated to be in the thousands, same to the people who were arrested, locked up, and tortured. The British recruited African home guards who employed oppressive violence to maintain control over the population and help in arresting the locals. They detained around 100,000 Kikuyu individuals who some were not part of the Maumau without trial, with many being held for extended periods ranging from 3 to 7 years. They were put in camps where they were subject to severe torture, malnutrition, and beatings.
She was repeatedly struck in the legs with an axe when she was detained in a concentration camp run by British colonialists.
And the British, together with the home guards, would even rape women and castrate some men to force them to confessions about the Maumau.
Part of a school, the teachers say this building was where new prisoners were held before being taken in here for interrogations. Castration and rape were used to extract confessions and intelligence, as well as beatings so severe they were often fatal.
Many have argued that the suppression of the Maumau was more harsh and brutal compared to the handling of other colonial uprisings within the British Empire. Some historians suggest that white settler influence on the British government and the portrayal of the Maumau fighters as savage may have played a role in this.
In Nairobi, capital of Kenya, Europeans and Africans still walk the streets in fear of the dreaded Maumau. For it is that band of fanatics whose bloody deeds have cast a dark shadow across the face of Kenya.
Even though the Maumau suffered greatly, their struggles led to Kenya gaining its independence in 1963, and unfortunately not all lands were returned to their original owners after independence. Do you think the colonial British actions were justified? Let us know your answer down in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.